Let me say something that might surprise you. People aren't leaving Glastonbury because it's gotten worse. They're leaving because their lives changed, and what they value from a town changed with it. And at the same time, plenty of people are still moving into Glastonbury and absolutely loving it. So what's actually going on? I've lived in Glastonbury for the better part of the last 10 years, and since becoming a real estate agent a number of years ago, I've seen the same patterns play out again and again, both personally and professionally. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the 4 real reasons people are moving away from Glastonbury and 4 reasons people continue to move here anyway. And I really recommend you stick around to the end because one of these reasons explains both sides of that story. And if you're thinking about moving anywhere in the Hartford area, that insight alone can help you avoid choosing the wrong town for your lifestyle. If we haven't met yet, my name is David Constant and I'm a local real estate agent here in Central Connecticut. And I run the Living in Central Connecticut YouTube channel, where I break down what it's actually like living in towns like Glastonbury, West Hartford, Farmington, Wethersfield, and the surrounding Hartford suburbs. This isn't a hype video, it's a reality check, meant to help you make a smarter decision about where you live. Reason number 1, it's gotten too expensive because the value no longer lines up for everyone. Let's start with the biggest reason people move away from Glastonbury, and the one that really explains all the others: cost. But I want to be very clear about what that actually means. Most people who leave Glastonbury are not saying this town isn't nice anymore. What they are really saying is the value doesn't line up with what we need from it anymore. And that distinction matters. Glastonbury makes the most sense when you actively want the things it's known for. If you value strong public schools, larger single-family homes, quieter residential neighborhoods, space and privacy, and long-term suburban stability, then the cost often feels justified. But the moment those things stop being priorities, the price tag starts to feel heavy because you're no longer paying for something you need. You're paying for something you're not using anymore. I've lived in Glastonbury since 2015, and over the years, I've watched this play out again and again among friends, neighbors, and families I knew through school activities and youth sports. A lot of people bought here in the mid-2010s, and at the time, prices felt high, but reasonable. Interest rates were lower, and the mindset was, yes, it's definitely on the more expensive side, but it's Glastonbury, it's worth it. And for a long time, it was. But then slowly, the conversation started to shift. It wasn't dramatic, it was subtle. It sounded more like, do we really want to renovate here? Let's wait and see what taxes do. How long do we want to maintain this house for? One couple I knew had talked for years about adding on to their home. Nothing extravagant, just more functional space. And when construction costs jumped and they priced it out, the conversation changed from when should we do this to should we even do it at all? That question, should we do this here, is the beginning of the exit ramp. What I've seen over and over again is this: people don't leave Glastonbury because they can't afford it. They leave because they hit a value break point. And that moment when someone says, we can afford it, but does this still make sense for our life? Especially when kids are older or out of the house, schools matter less day to day, a large home feels like responsibility instead of flexibility, and privacy matters less than convenience. At that point, the town hasn't changed, the priorities have. Now fast forward to my time as a real estate agent in the last few years. What honestly surprised me was how closely the professional conversations matched what I'd already been hearing personally for a number of years. I regularly hear buyers and homeowners say some version of, the schools are great, but we don't need that level of school system. Or, do we really need 3,000 square foot house anymore? Or, we'd rather be closer to the amenities than have a big yard. And once someone says any of these things, Glastonbury naturally starts to feel expensive. Not because it's objectively overpriced, but because it's no longer aligned with what they value personally. So here's what the modern version of this looks like. A buyer tours a solid Glastonbury home, nothing wrong with it, just not fully updated. They start stacking the math. There's the purchase price, the interest rate, taxes, future maintenance or updates. And then someone says, for the same monthly payment, we could get something newer or smaller or closer to where we actually spend our time. That's when Glastonbury moves from this is the target to this might not be the best fit for us. This is not a sign that Glastonbury is declining. In many cases, it's the opposite. People are leaving because their homes gain value, not because they lost it. And they're using that equity strategically. They're downsizing, simplifying, reallocating, or choosing a lifestyle that better matches their current phase of life. So when people say it's gotten too expensive, what they usually mean is the value no longer matches what we want from it.
So you're thinking about moving to Central Connecticut. Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research. And I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move. The best part is that this guide is 100% free. Yes, that's right, you heard it, 100% free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helped.
And once that realization hits, it naturally leads to the next major reason people move away from Glastonbury. They start wanting a different lifestyle, whether that's more land, less maintenance, more walkability, or a completely different daily rhythm. Once someone starts questioning the value equation, the next thing that comes up almost immediately is lifestyle. And this is where expectations versus reality really matter. Glastonbury offers a very particular lifestyle. Primarily single-family homes, quieter residential neighborhoods, more driving than walking, more space and privacy, less density, less buzz. And for a lot of people, especially families with younger kids, that's exactly the goal. But for others, over time, it stops matching how they actually live day to day. Since moving here, I've watched a lot of people move here with a picture in their heads of what life would feel like. And for many, it delivered, especially in the early years. But I also saw people slowly realize things like, we still drive everywhere. We don't really use the yard as much as we thought. Or, we're in the car constantly. Some friends we knew loved their house, but not the routine. Weekends meant driving kids to activities, running errands across town, coordinating schedules. Eventually, someone would say, we just want life to feel simpler. That's not a knock on Glastonbury, that's a lifestyle recalibration. And this is a big one. Expectations are, I want a suburban town with space, but I still want things nearby. In the reality, at our price point, that means more driving than we expected. Once someone realizes they personally value walkability, proximity to restaurants or shops, or a more compact daily routine, Glastonbury can start to feel misaligned. Again, not bad, just different. And as an agent, I hear the lifestyle conversation constantly, especially from buyers comparing towns. People will often say, we like Glastonbury, but we're not sure it matches how we actually live. Or, we love the house, but we're not sure we love the day-to-day. That's often when buyers start seriously comparing West Hartford, Wethersfield, parts of Farmington, or smaller towns with more land and fewer errands. Once lifestyle becomes the deciding factor, Glastonbury either fits really well or it falls out of the running pretty quickly. And when lifestyle expectations shift, that naturally connects to the next reason why people move away. They start wanting something different from their commute or from where their job is located. This is one of the most practical and least emotional reasons why people leave Glastonbury, but it's incredibly common. Glastonbury is extremely well positioned for Hartford area jobs. If you work in Hartford, East Hartford, or nearby corporate campuses, the location makes a ton of sense. But when that changes, the equation changes fast. Over the years, I've watched friends and neighbors experience job changes that quietly reshaped their housing decisions. Someone would switch offices, another would go hybrid, another would start commuting less frequently, but farther. And suddenly, Glastonbury went from the perfect location to why are we paying a premium to live here? Especially when the commute became New Haven, Fairfield County, Worcester, Boston, or even New York City occasionally. At that point, people start asking, if we're already driving 45 to 90 minutes, shouldn't we rethink where we live? Now, as an agent, I hear this framed very directly. People will say, we don't need to be close to Hartford anymore. If we're only commuting twice a week, we want more house or more land. And that's when Glastonbury starts losing ground. Not because it's inconvenient, because its main advantages is no longer relevant to that buyer. When location flexibility increases, people reallocate their housing dollars. Hybrid and remote work didn't just change commutes, it changed priorities. People started valuing space for a home office, privacy, or a setting they enjoyed being in all day. And depending on what they want, that can either push them farther out for land and quiet, or closer in for walkability and convenience. Either way, Glastonbury isn't always the best match anymore.
Now for the question of the day. What matters most to you when relocating? Make sure to leave your answer in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say. Also, if you have any questions, thoughts, you can leave those in the comments as well. Or even better, text, call, or email me. My information should pop up on the screen below.
And when commute and work patterns shift, that leads directly into the final big reason people move away. They're ready to simplify. And Glastonbury is a town people often graduate from. This is the quiet reason that explains a lot of Glastonbury turnover, and it's often misunderstood. For many families, Glastonbury is a chapter. People move here to raise kids, get through the school years, build equity, and enjoy stability. But eventually, that chapter ends. And when it does, people start asking, what do we actually need now? I've watched plenty of families reach this stage. Kids went to college, houses felt big, maintenance felt constant, and people would say things like, we love the house, but we don't need all of this anymore. And at the same time, they realized something important. They were sitting on a ton of equity. So instead of viewing a move as a loss, it became strategy. Since becoming an agent, I see this very clearly on the seller side. People aren't panicking, they're planning. They're saying, we can downsize, or we can simplify, or we can free up some capital. And often, Glastonbury is exactly the place where that makes sense to do. And this part is important. People moving out for this reason doesn't mean Glastonbury is declining. It means it did its job, it delivered value, and now people are moving into a different phase of life. That's a sign of a mature, stable town, not a struggling one. So when you step back and look at all four reasons together, a pattern starts to emerge. People move away from Glastonbury when their values shift, their lifestyle priorities change, their work patterns evolve, or their life stage moves forward. And yet, those are the exact same reasons why new people continue to move into Glastonbury every single year. So if you stop the video right now, it might sound like Glastonbury is a town people are outgrowing. And that's only half of the story. So for every person that decides that Glastonbury no longer matches that phase of life, I talk to plenty of buyers who say, we've looked everywhere and this is still the best fit for us. And the reason is simple. Glastonbury delivers extremely well on a very specific set of values. And if those are your values, this town still makes a ton of sense. So let's start with the most obvious one. Families still move to Glastonbury because they deeply value the school environment. Not just test scores, but the total package. For buyers who care about strong academics, deep extracurricular offerings, athletics, music and arts, clubs, activities, and opportunities, Glastonbury continues to check a ton of boxes. Living here for 10 years, raising 3 kids here, I've seen firsthand how many families move to Glastonbury intentionally around their kids' school years. This wasn't accidental. People would say things like, we're thinking long term, we want consistency, we want options for our kids. And for families in that phase of life, Glastonbury felt like a place where kids could grow, families could settle in, and you didn't feel like you had to move again in 5 years. Now, as an agent, I see the same priorities show up very clearly in buyer consultations. Families relocating from out of state or more urban areas or less consistent school districts, they often tell me, we're willing to pay more if the environment is right. For those buyers, the cost doesn't feel excessive. It feels intentional. They're not just buying a house, they're buying stability during an important phase of their life. And this is where Glastonbury really shines for the right buyer. If you want a single family home, a driveway, a yard, quieter streets, and some separation from your neighbors, Glastonbury still delivers that better than many nearby towns. For buyers who want less density, fewer shared walls, and a calmer day-to-day environment, Glastonbury doesn't feel expensive, It feels appropriate, especially for families coming from condos, apartments, denser urban or inner ring suburbs. The lifestyle shift alone justifies the cost. I've had buyers look at more walkable towns with denser neighborhoods or newer developments elsewhere, and then they come back to Glastonbury and say, "This just feels more like home." And that reaction is very common. Glastonbury isn't flashy, it's comfortable. And for a lot of people, that's exactly the point. Another reason people continue to move here is location. If your work, family, or daily routine is tied to Hartford, East Hartford, or the Central Connecticut corridor, Glastonbury is extremely well positioned. This isn't about nightlife or buzz, it's about ease. People move here because commuting is manageable, errands are straightforward, and day-to-day life doesn't feel chaotic. For buyers who value predictability, efficiency, and balance, Glastonbury's location is a real asset. I often hear buyers say, "We don't need to be in the middle of everything, we just want everything to be reasonably close." For that mindset, Glastonbury still works extremely well. This last reason doesn't always get talked about, but it's huge.
Hey guys, it's Dave Constant. As much as I love making these videos, there's one thing I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the country make the move here to Central Connecticut. I've helped countless families make the move, so whether you're coming out the next week, the next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here on the screen and linked in the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move.
People move to Glastonbury because it feels safe as a long-term decision. Not emotionally safe, financially and strategically safe. Buyers who think long-term often say, if we're going to stretch, we want to know the town holds its value. And historically, Glastonbury has done that. That doesn't mean prices only go up, but it does mean demand stays relatively consistent, turnover is healthy, and the town remains desirable across generations. Here's the full circle moment. People leave Glastonbury because it held its value, and people move to Glastonbury because they believe it will continue to. That's not a contradiction. It's a sign of a mature market. So here's the real takeaway from this video. People don't leave Glastonbury because something is wrong with it. They leave because their priorities have changed. Their lifestyle shifts and their life stage moves forward. And people move towards Glastonbury because they value schools and stability, they want space in a traditional suburban feel, and they're tied to Central Connecticut. And they want confidence in a long-term decision. Glastonbury is not for everyone, and it doesn't need to be. But for the right buyer at the right phase of life, it still makes a ton of sense. If you're trying to decide whether Glastonbury still fits your priorities, or whether another Hartford area town might align better, that's exactly what I help people work through every single day. Reach out, grab the relocation guide linked below, or just have a conversation. The goal isn't to sell you on Glastonbury. The goal is to help you choose the town that actually matches how you want to live. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.